Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of JNA News Dash, where two full-time realtors turn into part-time newscasters. We have Lucas over here, our partnership director.
Hi everyone.
So last week, Jarvis actually shared that we have a Telegram channel where we share all our exclusive promotional partnership codes.
Yes.
So if you're interested to find out more, do click and sign up into our Telegram channel.
Yes, and I love my job, right? Because as partnerships director, I just meet business owners, experienced partners to bring you the best deals every single week. And it's just having coffee.
Only for
meals.
those who are in our Telegram channel, okay?
Yeah, that's right.
So don't forget to subscribe.
Yes.
Okay, so what do we have in our news dash this week?
Right. First up, HDB is going to be launching 1,900 new BTO flats in Kang this month. This month meaning October.
They have two projects, right?
Yes, they have two projects in Kang itself, total 1,900, and interestingly, all of them are going to be either 5-room flats or 3-gen flats. Yeah. So if you guys don't know what a 3-gen flat is, right? Technically, it's still a 5-room flat, but it's slightly larger. And the layout is slightly different as well because instead of the typical 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, you're going to have 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, right? But it's not an executive apartment or executive mansionette. But it is definitely a lot of families yearning for space will want to have a bigger 5-room flat.
Okay, so other than space, let's share about the view and the surrounding amenities that we have for this new upcoming BTO project as well.
Yeah, so it's going to be near Pang Sua Canal. Yeah, also known as Longkang.
In Singapore, canal is really like, wow, you get a view.
The closest thing you come to a river.
That's a river view in Singapore.
Yeah, but don't worry, I actually jog there pretty often. And actually it's very, very clean. There's no smell. It's a very wide pond. Actually can be very nice like on rainy days. Yeah, and it leads to like Pang Sua Pond at the Cashew Bukit Panjang area. Right? And it's a very nice area. Actually,
what I really love about this location is the new upcoming, it being beside an MRT station, which, not a lot of HDBs are now. A lot of the new BTOs are not right beside an MRT station, which is which can be quite inconvenient for youngsters who do not have a car.
Yeah.
So for these BTOs, for youngsters or even families who are looking for a new BTO, this is probably one of the locations that's right beside an MRT station.
Yeah, but don't be mistaken, it's not near Choa Kang MRT, it's near Bukit Panjang MRT. And in my opinion, it's like, okay, I don't want to start a war, but Bukit Panjang MRT is pretty nice, right? Because it's right now it's the first stop on the downtown line. So when you get early in the morning, you get to find a seat.
You get to
That's
sit.
for sure. Yeah. And the downtown line is definitely newer as well. And so it's a very nice ride. Some new rules for first timers, right? If you're booking your HDB flat for the first time, right? In the past, you're allowed 2 chances.
Yeah.
You get
Before
your queue
you
number.
Before you are considered a second timer.
Yes. You get your queue number. You can choose to opt out of the flat. You don't want to choose. You want another development, right? Okay, then you queue again, you ballot again, and you get a queue number for the second time. Okay, and if you decide to miss it the third time, you are considered a second timer. But now, with the new rules, right, be careful because if you choose not to opt for a flat during your first ballot, you are considered a second timer.
The second time
onwards,
Yeah. So something to take note of for those who are looking to ballot for your flat. So next up, we have phase 2 of Clementi and King Albert Park MRT station, which is part of the Cross Island Line project. So for those of you wondering how much your MRT station is costing, it's about 450 million per MRT station.
Minimum.
Yeah. So let's see. King Albert Park MRT station is awarded to China Communications Construction Company.
Yep.
And what about Clementi MRT station?
So that goes to Sino Hydro Corporation Limited. Yeah, and that's costing 514 million.
Yeah, and it's a joint venture between them and China Communications as well.
Yeah. So construction works are set to start in Q1
of 2024.
2024, yeah. And services will commence by 2032.
So another 10 more years for our kids to use when they're maybe 8-10 years old.
Yeah, but what's interesting is it's going to be a transport hub. And how is this going to play into the prices of the residences nearby, right? Because that's what we're always interested in. Clementi and King Albert Park. Okay, let's not talk about King Albert Park since it's like
they
mostly...
have MRT station.
And then it's mostly private.
Yep.
But Clementi is very interesting because there's a lot of HDB flats plus condos around there, and prices are already pretty high. So in May of this year, a 5-room HDB flat in Clementi sold at a record price of 1.04 million.
That's so crazy, right? Maybe in 2032, once all this transportation is being built and we can actually start using, maybe the prices will be at 2 million.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Honestly, I don't doubt it. I mean, once upon a time, we all said
HDB will never reach 1 million is crazy. It only happened for like Pinnacle. Right now, we are seeing it in Kang.
Everywhere.
We are seeing it in Clementi. We are seeing it in Dawson. We are seeing it everywhere.
In Bukit Panjang.
Yeah, in Bukit Panjang as well. And we were sharing it just a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
So we are really blessed in Singapore where, the government is always improving on the transportation system over here. And even Kang, aside from King Albert Park and Clementi, I remember when I was bringing a client to buy this project in Riverfront Residences, they were sharing just about this MRT line, CRL, in Punggol and Kang as well. Yep. So just talking about this, we're excited to see how property price is going to be affected with all this transportation system being built. And I see a lot of transformation going up, not just for MRT stations, but also a lot of transformation coming up in Orchard as well, which we're going to be talking about next.
Yes.
Okay. So we're seeing a lot of transformation happening, not just with MRT lines, but also transformation in Orchard. So last month, we were actually sharing about the Forum shopping mall that's going to be rejuvenated. Now we are seeing that Far East Shopping Centre is also sold at $928 million.
Yeah.
To who?
To Glory Property Developments. And you guys may not be familiar with this company name, but perhaps you'll know who the businessman behind it is, right? It's Mr. Tu Shuanghua.
Tu Shuanghua is a Chinese businessman tycoon. So he's in the steel industry, but recently, he has been acquiring properties in Singapore. And just last year, he acquired income at Raffles Place. For how much? 1 billion.
And he also bought the Grand Park Orchard Hotel for slightly over 1.15 billion. Yeah. And of course, there's a lot of interest, right, from businessmen and investors going into Orchard Road because of the SDI scheme.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just last month, as we mentioned earlier, so actually there is some transformation going on in Orchard. Last month, we were sharing about the Forum shopping mall.
Yeah.
That's also going to be rejuvenated into a mixed commercial and residential use. And seeing that Far East Shopping Centre is also going to be, rejuvenated into maybe a new commercial space is something exciting that I'm really excited for property investors in Orchard area.
And of course, there's been a lot of interest by investors and businesses in redeveloping Orchard Road. And of course, URA runs the SDI scheme, the Strategic Development Incentive Scheme, right? And its primary aim is to encourage the redevelopment of older buildings on Orchard Road.
So it's really exciting to see these opportunities that's given to all these investors by URA through this incentive scheme. And what I'm really excited about is seeing these buyers collaborating with neighboring property owners to actually enhance Orchard Road area.
Yes, so the business owners will be there as well to kind of give their inputs. And that's great, right? Because we don't want each shopping mall to be like standalone, right? And what's great as well is they are not requiring, but suggesting that the MRT link from the MRT to the shopping mall be built as well, so that it's easier for shoppers.
Yeah, that's actually really appreciated by us pedestrians because, walking upstairs, if you're not underground, it's actually really hot, especially in Singapore.
It's either hot or it's raining.
Yeah, it's either hot or raining, so this underground tunnel is really appreciated. And of course, URA will also be looking at several factors like urban and architectural concepts.
And of course, the environmental contributions as well. We all know the government is working towards zero carbon emissions by 2030, right? Even though Singapore is only emitting like 0.1% of the world's carbon.
You want to be number one in everything.
Yes, number one in everything.
Okay, next up. Okay, so this one regarding the money laundering cases that everyone has been following, we have been following too, like our 500th episode of this Korean drama.
Yeah.
And I was just telling Lucas that we should actually suggest maybe having this made into a movie.
You want to act in it?
Not us. Okay.
Well, yes. So, in line with Singapore being number one, this is soon becoming the world's largest money laundering case, right? And now it's at $2.8 billion in seized assets.
Yeah, 1.24 billion being in properties and vehicles.
Yeah. And when we first reported about this, I remember it was only 1 billion. And everyone was like, wow.
Yeah, earlier when I was reading this, I was like 2.8 billion. Hey, this is different case or is this the same case?
Yeah.
And then I was reading and I was like, wow, it's the same case. So like 1.24 billion being in property and cars and vehicles. And then another 1.4 billion was actually in their bank account.
Yeah. And of course, the question on everyone's mind is, what is Singapore doing, right, to prevent more money laundering cases like this in the future? Which brings us to the next news, right? So they are forming an inter-ministerial committee to ramp up our money laundering efforts.
Yeah, so actually this committee is to ensure that, different departments work together hand in hand to ensure something like this doesn't happen again. So I was just reading, this $2.8 billion case. It didn't happen just this year. It happened since 2021 when Singapore was already suspicious of these transactions, and that was when they started tracking all of these activities. So it's been 2 years, and they only announced it now, so that this criminals, they do not run away if they know that we're actually tracking on them.
Yes. So this inter-ministerial committee is going to be made up of the Ministry of Finance, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, of course, the Ministry of Home Affairs, Commissioner of Charities, right? And also our big boss, the Council for Estate Agencies.
Yes, to ensure that property agents like us also report suspicious transactions like this.
Yes, because we're really the first line, right?
Yeah.
Because most of the time, we're the ones that see the property, see the buyer, and then encounter, this guy paying
cash? Bag of
65
cash?
million cash?
1 million of cash?
Yeah.
Yep. And you're also wondering why Commissioner of Charities. So actually, if you're looking at this 2.8 billion money laundering case, they were also donating money to charities.
Yes.
And some of them actually reported this case after they found out. And some of them are also still tracking which charities were actually being donated money to.
Yeah. So what the charities are going to be doing, right, is they're going to look through all their donor books, right, to see who donated money and match the names against those people who are named in the anti-money laundering case.
Yep.
And a lot of people actually ask me
ask you.
Yeah, ask me, where are the real estate agents
in this
case, right? Because nobody is putting a spotlight on the property agents who are involved. And
because 1.24 billion is in real estate.
Yes, and it's a lot of commission, that's for sure, right? So what's their involvement in this? And maybe I must say, this is something I learned when I was studying for the real estate license, right? When there is an anti-money laundering case and we suspect something fishy is going on, our job is not to stop the transaction. Right? Our job is to conduct the AML check and then that's raise the issue to the authorities.
Yeah, actually, that was similar to what, based on what I read, a lot of the financial institutions, they allowed these transactions to go through, but they raised this and reported this as part of the money laundering case. Yeah, so as part of property agents, you let the transaction. That was also what Singapore did. They allowed the transaction to go through since 2021, and then that was when they started tracking to actually have sufficient proof that these people are actually are suspicious of money laundering case. Yeah,
because if you think about it, right, if we raise it up too early before the transaction goes through, and then the guy runs away, and then we won't have. It will still happen somewhere else, right? But for us, we let it happen, then we catch them later on. So a new platform is going to be launched in the second half of 2024. Right? And this will allow participant financial institutions to share information with local and overseas affiliates under certain conditions. Right? And this platform is going to be called the Collaborative Sharing of Money Laundering, Terrorism Financing Information and Cases.
In short, COSMIC. So COSMIC will be used for 3 key financial crime risks. First being misuse of legal persons. Second, misuse of trade financing. And third, proliferation of financing.
Yes. So pay attention to misuse of legal persons, right? Because that could mean you. If somebody offers you $2 million, $3 million to buy a property under your name, be very careful, okay? Don't be too happy about that.
Yeah, and especially in real estate, it's something common that we usually see where someone is buying a property under another person's name. And mainly sometimes it's because they want to avoid paying ABSD. But sometimes it could be, just your own parents using the kid's name.
Yeah. So the Council for Estate Agencies is also creating an online platform for the real estate industry, people like us, right, to refer to for the anti-money laundering regulations and best practices.
In addition to that, the government is actually also considering to extend its anti-money laundering case investigations, reporting all these cases to high-value items like, your bags, your luxury cars.
Yeah.
Which can be interesting. So imagine you're going to a luxury store buying your Hermes bag. Oh, we need your ID, we need all your details, where you're getting all these funds from. Because, sometimes bags like this can cost up to $40,000, $50,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not money that you just get up to pick up from your pocket and like, hey, pay $2 chicken rice. Okay, next up, we have 2 property agents that were penalized for failing to carry out AML checks. So let's share a little bit more on how this actually happened.
So these 2 property agents, right, they failed to properly verify their buyers' identities and assess risks related to anti-money laundering and terrorism financing. So how this happens in the process, so in case you guys don't know, after a buyer purchases our property, we actually have to log in we have to check the ICs and the passports, and then we key it into a AML check system.
Yep.
And we do get within almost immediately, we do get a verification history of whether this person is safe or not. Okay, so this is how I feel might have played out, right? They probably had a buyer. They didn't verify with the physical passport and IC, right? Because we can't just receive identity card or your passport through WhatsApp or SMS or something, right? You actually need to see the passport, hold it up next to the person and see whether or not the picture matches. Yeah. So when this happens, if you actually just receive the IC or the passport through WhatsApp, what they can actually do is they do it like the Photoshop or something to make
and
it
now
look
you
legit.
have AI and you have Midjourney.
Yeah.
It's easy to, fake and put up a fake IC that may not even be real. So what happened to this agent was that they actually received a $4,000 fine.
Yeah.
And their license was also suspended for about 4 months.
Yeah. So $4,000 fine actually is a pretty light slap on the wrist because they could actually have been fined up to $100,000 and their estate agency could have been fined up to $200,000.
Yeah. For those of you who are going to engage a property agent, do ensure you provide them your physical copy of your IC so that they can do their own due diligence checks for you. So this is all that we have for this week. Thank you so much for watching this week's News Dash. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.